things are very expensive. I remember the days when games console prices would go down as the console got older, but it seems that that's not the case anymore. I just want to have a chat about essentially what the hell is going on with Nintendo and Sony at the moment. And look, before we get into the political climate of tariffs and things like that, that's beyond my scope of knowledge, okay? I'm just talking about the impact that it's having, and I hate this term, but the optics of it. So I want you to cast your mind back many moons ago to the start of the month. Nintendo raised the prices of the Nintendo Switch. Not the Switch 2, the Switch 1. So on an official Nintendo article on the official Nintendo website, they stated that they were upping the prices, or adjusting the prices, of the Nintendo Switch OLED and Lite model. They didn't give any specifics on what those adjustments were going to be, so it was kind of up to the user and the shopper to try and figure that out for themselves. But thankfully, we've got an article from The Verge which has gone over what the changes are and how that's impacted people. And of course, all of this is going to be linked down below in the description if you want to have a read of it yourself. I'm going to leave the art. Normally, when I'm filming this, I would change this last screen here so it looks normal and you think that I know all this off the top of my head, but no, these are all like the sources that I use. I usually have my notes on this screen as well, so we're just going to leave the actual website up because I just want to be honest and transparent here. Now, what's worth noting is that these prices seem to impact the US market, not the international, or where I'm from, the UK market. So as the Verge article states here, the original Nintendo Switch, which was selling for $299.99, is now retailing for $339.99. That's a price increase of $40 there, which in the grand scheme of things doesn't seem, oh, 40 bucks isn't huge. That used to be a game. That's a whole game that it's gone up. It's like 7-8 years old now. Things shouldn't be getting more expensive as they get older. I mean, granted, rarity and collector stuff comes into play, but with this, it's not really a case. It's just a case of things are more expensive now because things are more expensive now. Now, the next one it mentions is the OLED model. I'm going to glance over that and we're going to look at the Lite model, which has gone up from $199.99 to $229.99. And it's not the biggest of changes, but again, this model is an older model. As we all know, the Lite model of the Switch never got any sort of performance upgrades or any other versions. It was just the Lite model. It can't be docked. That's it. There's no sort of OLED screen model version, there's no version with a better battery or anything like that, or bigger storage. It's the normal model that you have, and that is it. And now it's more expensive than it ever was before. And the Nintendo Switch OLED went from $349.99 up to $399.99. Essentially putting it $50 away from a Switch 2. And it begs the question, why the hell would you go for an OLED Switch when you could get a Switch 2 for 50 bucks more? It's weird. I don't really understand why. Like, I get that the components might be getting more expensive, and I understand that changing global market conditions will have an impact on the pricing, but these aren't new systems. These are systems that should be getting cheaper because the tech is getting older. I mean, it's been the case for a long time with Nintendo stuff that it retains its value, but that's mainly due to the fact that Nintendo's too stubborn to actually lower the prices. Hell, it wasn't until recently you could walk into a shop and Breath of the Wild, which was a launch title, would still be 60 quid. It's ridiculous how expensive these things still are. But Nintendo upping the prices of years old tech, that's a weird one, because I remember the days of walking into a game and electronics boutique and seeing GameCubes on the wall and having them priced at less than 100 quid. We have strayed so far from the light. Another two things which are mentioned in this article, which one of them is going to be a big shock to people, is Alamo was getting a $10 increase in price. I'll let you all calm down from that. But then also, Joy-Cons were $89.99 and now $109.99. Now, I have said previously that when you get a set of Joy-Cons, you essentially are getting two controllers, which, yeah, you are. However, look at them. They're not exactly two controllers. It's one controller that can kind of be used for two in certain situations, but it's not two fully fledged controllers. But 110 bucks for that to get stick drift. No, who wants that? That's ridiculous. And again, this is all old tech, but it's not old where it's retro and has value. It's just old now. It hasn't gotten to the retro point yet. It's a very strange move. And I get that Nintendo Switch 1 consoles are still relevant because they're still making games for it. But surely I can't get my head around why they'd up the price. Why not just eat the difference or lower the expectations of what you have on that console to sell. Because as you increase that price, I mean, look at the way that my brain is working anyway with it is, and I'm not a big business person. I sit in my flat and I make these videos to the couple of hundred subscribers that I have, and I appreciate every single one of you. Seriously, it means the world. I don't understand markets and stuff like that, but in my eyes, I wouldn't be doing this. I'd either be eating the cost or just accepting that whatever the cost was, so let's say it was the $349, that's still the price of the OLED. But it would have been less if the market conditions hadn't been what they were. Do you know what I'm saying? That makes sense, right? Yeah? So aside from Nintendo doing that, which is probably the weirder one of the changes, Sony also hopped on and did something. And they've upped the price of the PS5. Yes, the PS5 console, the digital version, the normal version, and the Pro. So on August 20th, Sony put out a blog post stating that the very next day, they were upping the prices of the PS5 range of consoles, which is very cheeky if you ask me, because it doesn't give customers the ability to go out and purchase it at that lower price before those price hikes kick in. And again, this was all down to changes in global market conditions and whatever that means. I'm not an economist, like I've said. And again, this is only impacting the US market, but Polygon has got a really good article going over what the differences are in the prices. Because Sony, unlike Nintendo, did give the prices of what the new range of, well, I say new range, what the new range of prices will be for their old consoles. But they didn't say what the increases were or what the prices used to be, but Polygon's done a really good job of putting them all together. So the PlayStation 5 base console, you know, the one that came out many years ago, with the disc drive, that was $499.99. But now it's $549.99. $50 increase on that console. Now granted, you have got the disc drive with that, so if you've got a digital only version, you're still having to pay for that. But yeah, 550 smackaroos for that is a lot of money. The digital edition has gone up from $449.99 to $499.99. And then probably the most egregious of all is the PS5 Pro. Now the Pro is already expensive at $699.99, but now it's $749.99. It doesn't have a disc drive. That's another $80 on top of that. You were looking at over $800 for the PS5 Pro with a disc drive, and then another $30 for the stand. Because of course they couldn't include that with it. I get it, I get that things get more expensive and I get that these price hikes have to happen. But all it is doing is making people worried for what the future is going to be. Because if this is what they're going to do now, what's going to happen when the PS6 comes out? And the next Switch and the next Xbox, I mean Xbox already upped their price. I talked about that previously as well. So again, there's a card going up here or there somewhere. Click it, have a look at the video I made about the Xbox price hikes a while back and just get your head around the whole situation. But yeah, it's just weird because if they're going to charge $549, it's just $550 for a PS5 now. When the PS6 comes out, it's more powerful, it's got better specs. There'll be no problem with them charging over $600 for that base spec console because this model they already sell right now is $500. So it's going to be better, it's going to be more expensive. Unless they eat that cost, which I don't see them doing. It's times like these that I have to remind myself and a lot of people out there that these companies are not your friends, they are businesses. And sooner you can understand that, the better, because you understand that, cool, they're just making money, but come on, like $750 for a PS5 Pro. I mean, granted it's newer tech, but there's still not a tremendous amount of stuff out there that takes full advantage of it. I mean, there's a lot of games coming out now which do have perks of being played on a Pro, but at the same time as well, there's not enough in my eyes to justify it. It's a really weird economic climate that we have in general right now. Things are very expensive, but gaming, which is a luxury hobby to have, is getting even more expensive. And when you've got games which are coming out which are $80, $75, whatever it is, plus digital like DLC for everything, battle passes, microtransactions up the wazoo, it's hard. And there's always talk about a gaming crash or a gaming industry crash again. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't want to be one of these doom and gloom people that's like, no, the games industry is going to crash, it's going to fall through. But I wouldn't be surprised, given what is going on right now, if we saw some form of decline. I don't know how people can keep on justifying these prices. I don't know how consumers can be happy doing it. I don't think anyone's happy to keep on paying these prices, let's be honest. But yeah, it's just weird. And if you weren't someone who owned these consoles already, I mean, Sony gave you a day. You had to go and get it there and then, otherwise you weren't going to be able to, you know, take advantage of that lower price point, which is ridiculous. That's a really poor move. But at least you were open and honest about what the prices were. Nintendo hid that and you had to go and search the store for it. So either way, like, that's on top of the price hikes we had previously this year, with the accessories all went up in price for both consoles. I mean, the Switch 2 had price changes before it even came out because of the market tariffs and all that jazz. And then the PS5 had a similar situation where adjustments were made for all the accessories there as well, I believe. It's ridiculous. I can remember like being able to walk into shops and pick up controllers for less than 40 quid. And now, like, you wouldn't even get a used one for that price. It's crazy. These are very weird times that we're living in right now. Very weird. I'm still amazed that the PS5 Pro doesn't come with the stand. That's ridiculous.